Fun fact, Steve Jobs met his biological father and didn't know it. It was only after his father, biological father, died that he found out that that it was his father. The crazy because his dad had a restaurant across the street from Apple campus, and Steve Jobs would go there often to go eat, and they would talk and shake hands and stuff like that.
So
Damn.
his father never bothered to mention that to him.
No, because his father gave him up during childbirth.
Oh,
Ah, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and Steve Jobs isn't white. He's like a Middle Eastern.
Oh, wow. It was just like, I'm just like at the end, he was like, I'm ashamed of you still. Like, you motherfucker! I shook a hand and everything.
actually, hold on. Let me look it up. Oh yeah, he was called
Lebanese.
Steve Jobs because that's
That's his
Adoptive name.
adopted parents. Yeah.
yeah, his biological father's from Syria,
Mm,
and
Yeah.
so yeah, he's Middle Eastern.
wow. Damn,
Crazy. That's why I took
man,
a
that revolutionized the
23andMe.
market.
That's why I took a 23andMe to check if everything is in place.
Nice.
Like the baby does not look like any of you.
I
It's
was like,
like,
what's going on?
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Fun
bro.
fact.
fun fact.
Hmm?
Oh, you want me to
Oh.
go?
I mean,
I mean,
anybody can
I
go.
can go.
Okay.
Go.
I can go. Fun fact. The game, the video game known as Dragon Quest, is actually has its own national holiday in Japan, which the whole country celebrates it.
It's because people used to drop out of school to buy the game, right?
Yep. So the
How did
game
you
is
celebrate
actually
it?
that infamous.
How did
Probably
you
like a parade or
how do
something.
people celebrate
Probably like a parade or something.
it?
They have because it's usually a lot of festivals and stuff that revolve around it, and a lot of memorabilia that's just up for sale. But yeah, because they also had like the festival of the penis, and then like everything was based around like penis shaped objects.
Hmm.
So I mean, they even had like penis lollipops. I wanted to get one, but I'd only eat the tip, and that's it.
I mean, you could get those at like one of those stores, like Hot Topic or those
He
sex.
wants an authentic one.
What's an authentic Japanese one?
It has to be sakura flavored.
Nice.
They have a green tea version.
Matcha.
They call it the Hulk. But yeah,
Is it like
what?
is it like extra? It's
Is
the
it what?
Hulk, but it's like this. It's tiny and green.
Like a gorilla. All
All right, Chuck,
what you got, Jack?
for us?
All right. For me,
Enough dicks.
if you're familiar with San Francisco, there's this new tower called Millennium Tower that is right now it's sinking and tilting about 3 inches every year. The problem was that when they built it out, they didn't build the foundation deep enough. They only built it towards like the first layer. And they estimated that it'll only sink like a couple of centimeters and then it'll stop sinking, but it's been sinking 3 inches every year. So now they're paying up to $500 million to try and fix it.
That sucks for the people who bought property in the Millennium
Yeah.
Tower.
Yeah.
Shit,
Mm-hmm.
it's over.
Because you can't do anything about it, and you have to contribute to the repair.
I know, it's like Now I'm on a leaning tower of San Francisco because it's also leaning slightly.
I mean, can you even sell it, right? Can you
No,
even sell it?
the property
Yeah.
is dropped, but
Yeah.
it's funny. Property dropped, but it's still expensive.
Yeah,
It's like instead of
you still can't afford to live here still, so.
$4,000 for a one bedroom, it's now $3,800 or something like that. I don't know. I looked it up a while ago.
Damn,
Oh, you did? What was the price? 3,000?
Tower,
4,000?
one bedroom apartments.
I would live it. I would live there if it was under $1,000. I don't care. Like, fuck it.
I give you 200.
Yeah, the condo is like 3,700 is the lowest I've seen. Oh, there's some low. Okay, yeah. But
But then you put yourself at risk for that shit collapsing randomly.
I mean, they're putting a lot of improvements on it, so it should be stable.
It's the same thing with that condo building in Miami, right? It all of a sudden it just crashed and nobody saw the signs that was happening. I think it was the same situation too, because it was sinking and nobody realized it was sinking until it happened.
But now, because it's San Francisco, it's pretty much, you're gonna take out so many buildings with it.
It's I mean, well, the crazy thing is like if that shit is demolished anyways, it's still gonna be worth a lot of money afterwards.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're trying to fix it right now, so maybe if you purchase it, you can probably get a good deal on the property early on. Just hope that they fix it.
Yeah, 3,000 something a month. Yeah, it's probably over $1 million then.
Yeah, it's probably over $1 million.
Yeah.
But
How much are you spending to repair that shit?
500 million.
Mm, mm. So they gotta raise it up to back up to like $4,150.
Yeah. Soon they'll probably have to raise it up. We'll see.
Good luck. Speaking of raising it up, the question for today: would you go to war if your country was being attacked? This is pretty relevant. It's happening right now. Would you go to war if your country was attacked? For me, I wouldn't do it. I would say no.
It would
I
have
live
to
in the
depend
U-
on how bored I was.
I live in the US. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't fight for the US.
What if they went to war against your country of origin?
Oh, I wouldn't do it.
I don't
Not
think
at all. Heck no. Well, the crazy thing is like a lot of people, the assumption is like a lot of people thought that Russia wouldn't attack, right? Because a lot of Ukrainians are Russian and there's Russians living in Ukraine, but it happened and people still don't believe for it. For me, I brought up this question. If I would, no, I wouldn't fight with this country only because we have so much resource. I don't think they need me to fight for this country. Yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, it's your country you fight for. You're supposed to be patriotic, but like, yeah, I mean, growing up in this country is like, what is there? I mean, what is there to fight for, right? Right. Even, we don't live in a small nation. We're a huge country. We're powerful, and I think, we have our own ways of doing it. But I wouldn't fight for this country. If I was living in a smaller country, I probably would, right?
Interesting.
But at the moment, no, I wouldn't do it.
So what if you were in the small, so yes, so the argument still stands. If you were, okay, so let's just say you're in your country of origin and the like a larger nation has declared war against your country.
I would probably stay and fight,
Mhm.
just because I know that I won't be going anywhere else. And you have pride in where you're from. Growing up, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fight for my country. Or the other option is you don't have an option. You have to fight for your country.
Yeah, at that point, if they
Yeah,
try,
that's he's like, I don't want to fight, but you got to.
if they try to script you, are you gonna like try to leave to Canada or something?
Bitch, I live in the ocean.
It's international waters.
You'd be like, what's it? I think Muhammad Ali was famous for, he's being conscripted to fight in Vietnam War, and then
What is it? What is it called? What is that called?
Like
A war dodger?
it's called a war dodger. Made fun of, but he had some. He's like, ain't no Vietnamese ever done anything wrong to me. I ain't like, yeah, that was like, I forgot what he said. It was a powerful quote.
None of it did any harm. I completely get it. I mean, he grew up in a time where it's like racism, segregation, and shit. It's like, why would I fight for this country that treat me like shit?
No Vietnam ever called me an N-word.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's his.
Not they haven't learned it yet.
They did. It was just in their own language.
Yeah, we didn't call you the N-word, but we call you
it's not because, but like when you think about it though, it's one of those things where it's if they call you an offensive term in their language, it doesn't have the same sting as when they call it when you're calling you that in your language.
Right. I mean, because there's no history behind it.
Yeah, there's history behind calling someone a bad word like that.
Yeah, but it's just like there's creative insults like in several different languages. So then it's just like you know Jack and I learned a while back where there was a derogatory term for Filipinos where it was philo or something. And upon hearing it though, it's just like there is a history behind it, but it's just like it's not enough to make it feel offensive.
Yeah.
But
I think because we're Americans, we don't understand. I mean, probably in the UK, it has a little bit more history.
But interestingly enough, if you're African American, it's just getting called any sort of like derogatory term in any language is more easily picked up on by African American folk, and they have gotten offended by it too. So I actually had a coworker that got really, really mad at someone saying that like N-word in Spanish, and then it almost sparked like a huge fight. So it's just like it also, I guess it just depends on where the hate is actually coming from too. If there's like a deliberate deliberate derogatory form of it.
Yeah, because that means that the original came from that Spanish word for the color black.
Yeah. So
Jack, how about you? Would you go?
Oh yeah, going back to the war, that depends. Personally, I would say no most of the time, but if I were directly or personally affected, then I might consider it. And then even then, I would not want to go into combat. So like, let's say you're you get like a family member or someone close to you is like personally attacked. Like I can see like how there's some people who join the army because they have family who died in
Hmm.
the World Trade Center attack. So they'd feel like it's, their duty to go ahead and fight. I don't know how I'd feel in that situation if someone I knew personally got hurt, but I would consider it. That would be one of the situations where it might push me to consider it. But the whole, I might say no. You, especially recently, because like a lot of the wars and military conflicts the US has been doing are not really that well justified. Being in Iraq or if Afghanistan for a little bit too long, those are a little iffy.
Mhm.
I mean, what do you think they'll bring back the draft?
Would they expand the age of the draft?
Yeah, I'm way past the age of being drafted. So
I think we're all up past the age of being drafted. We're like,
We're recruiting 60,
I got-
68-year-olds.
I got diseases, I got deformities and disabilities, so I can't go fight. I think if you don't, I guess yeah, like, there's
Deformities.
I mean, if you don't make weight, you got flat feet.
I mean, if you
Oh.
get-
All the stuff like it, like you can like
Wow.
use to like not join the or if you're too
Oh,
fucking,
okay.
if you're too fat,
it was just,
they won't
What
take
I- what I
fat, they
hear-
won't-
but I hear like deformity, like you have like a corkscrew penis or something like that,
No.
and it's just like it's preventing you from fighting.
Yeah, anything that would prevent you from fighting. Like I think Donald Trump said that he had bone spurs or something like that, so he couldn't go.
what?
to war. Huh?
You had what?
Bone
Bone
spurs.
spurs. It's like
Oh, okay.
sticking out his foot, right?
Yeah, it was some excuse, but I don't buy it.
I got gout.
Gout
Like,
will probably,
even Bush,
Gout,
who was,
Gout will do that too.
even Bush was what's it called? I think he joined the army, but he was in what's it called, the
The
patrol.
reserves?
No, he was in like the Coast Guard or something like that. So he's like, I'm protecting the nation. I'm head of Coast Guard. You
Coast,
need that
the
you're
Coast
going-
Guard, I mean, the Coast Guard is part of that branch of the
Yeah.
military. Now, what part of the military would you join?
I'm gonna be joining the IT, whatever has the IT, as far away from the war as possible.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe intelligence. There you go.
Intelligence,
Uh,
or
Yeah.
that would be, I would probably say maybe the army then?
is what you would join, or
No, I'd probably join the SEALs.
Nice.
Interesting choice. I would join anything with technological or mechanical warfare. it's like,
Probably,
I don't have-
probably Air Force.
If we have Gundams, then yes.
Air Force for sure then.
Yeah, something. I don't know. I mean, like
Way technology
I at
now
least-
is now. They might just have people piloting drones.
drones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have drones, so it's just like anything mechanical or like radio controlled of that nature. It's just like that's where my war front would be. So that's why it's just like it would have to be depend on how bored I was.
So you're
Yeah.
basically playing a video game that has real
AB,
consequences.
AB, up, down, up, down.
I mean, but if it's any way on how I play video games today, I would fall asleep while I'm doing it.
Oh, the crazy thing, okay. Actually, we have a new branch of the our defense system is actually Space Force.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that. So Army,
Satellite
Marine,
lasers.
Navy, Air Force, yeah. And Space Force and then Coast Guard.
Yeah, I'll work on space stuff. Technically, like the way NASA's been able to get some of their projects funded was through the military. Because NASA itself, they don't get a lot of funding. So some of the projects they
Not from
do,
Elon Musk.
they do joint with the military, but Now they can probably do more with because of private space industry like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would usually partner up with the military on some things if it had like a use.
Mm. Well, I mean, that makes sense. For me, I personally worry about the idea of space just because one, I don't want to get stranded out there. Two, I
Whoa.
two, I don't I also I also heard the like the astronaut stories of people who lived up there for way too long. And usually they come back developing bone problems. They get a lot of decompression sickness, or like the joints in their body are not adjusted to normal Earth gravity anymore. So they just lie in bed in pain all day. So
I mean, definitely there's a should be a limit if you're going to be in space for a while.
mm,
Yeah, and also an age restriction because
mm,
you don't want to go into space when you're hella young and you could be still growing, so it's going to affect your bones and how you grow. It reminds me of like an anime that I saw about like it would try to be realistic where they depicted someone who grew up in space and they grew up to be hella tall and lanky and they can't ever go back to Earth, otherwise
They grew up to be an alien?
they grew up to be really tall and very skinny,
With
but
big eyes and
they have weak bones though, so if they ever go back to Earth they would probably yeah, they'd probably get hurt and they couldn't walk, and it'd be like a little bit like torture because they're under a high
mhm.
stress of gravity that they're not used to.
Yeah. I mean, that's the stuff I worry about because like once your body adapts to something, it's kind of hard to go back. So that's my main fear. I don't mind traveling through space to get to somewhere else, but the idea of just living in space is just a whole different thing. Plus, if if something is happens to be attacking your space station, you don't have anywhere to go.
You don't have
You
escape
can't.
or some shit.
Yeah, you can't fly away. So
so Walker is earthbound.
You're gonna be ground control.
I'll just send up. I'll just send drones up there. Hey, what's up, y'all?
We're gonna send a couple of drones up there. We're gonna send 20 of them up there. See what's going on.
They did say, I think Elon Musk did say like he helped direct a bunch of the Space Link or Starlink drones or satellites that provide internet over to Ukraine so that they wouldn't be cut off from the internet.
Yeah, because when you're in space, you need Wi-Fi.
Well, this is for war, so it has something to do. It has like some application.
Mhm.
Because
Oh yeah,
Russia would probably try to cut off the telecommunications of Ukraine, so they can't access any internet or any electricity or anything like that. So,
and they can't get on the hub.
yep.
That would be torture, actually. If you no longer have access to if you have no longer have access to I guess sex.
What?
What?
Oh, I mean, like if you don't, if they cut off telecommunications to the hub, Pornhub.
Oh.
And there's
Like,
definitely a war.
no, you have won this fight, sir.
You telling me if Russia like shut down Pornhub, they'll win the
Yeah.
war.
If your entire country loses porn, I'm pretty sure that would adversely affect the motivation.
That'd be
I-
impossible. Porn
I
finds a way. Everyone can you can make your own porn and people be happy.
the crazy thing, I think a country shut down porn because they were upset with, I forgot what country, they shut down Pornhub. I think they did it in
Korea?
Thailand or Malaysia. Yeah, they shut down porn because everyone's being
Mhm.
unproductive. I think they do it in China too, but But yeah,
And yet there's so many of us.
I feel like trying to do that only creates a black market
Oh, yeah.
because
So if
now
you-
you're gonna create a
if
bunch of
you-
amateur porn that's gonna be, you know, traded.
If you have like a stock of porn, it's like that, and it's the end of the world, that shit is gold.
Get
That
all
shit
my,
is gold.
old school Playboy magazines from the 60s, 70s, 80s.
The crazy thing is like, well, it's happening in Cuba. So in Cuba, they get all their stuff in the thumb drive, right? And what they do is they
New fun
translate. New fun fact, what they do is like they get all these porn in a thumb drive or thumb drives, the porn, movie stuff, and they link it up to other computers. It's basically like a regular landline, right? A landline connected to multiple computers within that neighborhood. So people can access those files and stuff into that, wherever they are in that neighborhood, they'll have access to all those files. They also sell those little thumb drives too to people who have like, you know, their TVs, stuff that could be able to play these movies on their television sets and stuff like that. But it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, since Cuba is a country that's been cut off by the US, they've had to like smuggle in all the content and media
All the content.
through hard drives and stuff, and just set up their own little network. I'm sure, you know, it could be done right now in Ukraine, but I think with the Starlink, just fly some satellites over it. Now you have internet.
You're good to go. You're good to go.
But I think the ISS has better internet than most people nowadays. They've with all the new bandwidth and linkage that they've added onto the space station.
So Jack, if it were your country of origin, being in a war with a larger, more advanced country, would you be participating?
It's probably the same as Polar, where I
Participating
would-
as like fighting technology, ground control. I was like, you know, whatever
I
supports the
think
team.
I would not, because then you know
Nothing at all, huh?
it's
Oh,
between family, because you know you got family in your host country and family in your the country that you're originally.
Okay, so what if you are in your country of origin then? And then a whole nother
country of
nation just
origin.
comes up on you. It starts grinding up on your people.
like on the dance floor. Hey, what you gonna do about it?
Hey, what you gonna do about it? Well, I would consider it, because you know it would be the same argument as something, you know, something personally affecting you.
What if it grind up on you?
What about you, Walker?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's right now it's hard to be about like either side of the fence really. But I mean, if it was it would have to be this really weird thing where it's just like who's really oppressing who, you know. It's just it depends on what the base of the argument is. Obviously it's always a struggle for power, but it's just like, you know, it's like who's overstepping their rights and their boundaries more. And then that's kind of how I'm like, okay, well, why the fuck? And you know, if it was against my country of origin, I mean, yeah, I would step in just because I'm not very big on like people fucking with others just because they're just trying to take. But, you know, if I was the larger nation, you know, it would really depend, because if it's
Something worth fighting for.
yeah, it would really have to be It's just because there's no like I need a reason, man. Otherwise, it's just yeah. I need a reason. Otherwise, it's just like, well, shit. Like just hook me up to a drone. I'll fly that shit around for a while.
Yeah, I think that's there has to be a good reason. It's
Yeah.
not like some of the other military wars and
Mhm.
conflicts that have been going on in the U.S. where I don't know why we're there.
Because
there.
yeah,
They
but see,
attack
it's
us?
just like
I don't know.
the simple notion of just going to war. It's just it's always just you're gonna like it doesn't it's not gonna matter whether you like another person or not anymore. You're just gonna go and just take them down. So like you literally going there without any bias.
And with that, we are ending this conversation. Everyone
So
stay safe.
moral of the story is don't let others grind up on your people.
Nope.
Don't. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for all the
Yeah.
knowledge.
We're all good. Don't fuck with us. Then we won't
Yeah.
fight.
All right, guys.
All right. Good night, and we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Good night. All right.